Hi everyone, welcome to my video 10 current problems with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has been a dominating franchise from 2008 but has been slowly declining since the release of Endgame and the new TV shows. Here are the main reasons why, in my opinion. Number 10. Bad superhero movie fatigue. While I don't really buy into the superhero movie fatigue myth at all, I do, however, buy into the bad superhero movie fatigue reality. We have had quite a few of them recently. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was just flat out bad with terrible CGI. The Eternals was just garbage and doesn't seem to affect the rest of the MCU. This isn't just a Marvel problem, but a DC problem as well. DC is also struggling with their DC universe, and I think we are starting to grow tired of the same stories that are being told. We need fresh and new ideas with compelling characters and storylines. The, the storytellers also need to have more creative freedom to tell the stories they want to tell and not be shackled in. We need more diverse movies like Black Panther and the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and less movies like Thor: Love and Thunder, which feels like the studio mandated a lot of things if you look at several interviews.
Biggest inspiration for Gore is a music video, and Taika and I did this scream that is in that video but did not see the light of day in the film. So my favorite bit was doing that as I just kind of screamed for sort of 30 seconds straight. Marvel went, no. That's not ending up in the final cut.
The critical and financial success of Marvel has been blown up as of late, and I feel like it's been due to the quality of content they've put out recently. Number 9. An absence of vision or overall plan. Who are the next Avengers? What is going on with the Celestials? Who is leading the Avengers? Where are we heading with the multiverse? I think those are all fair and important questions to ask, especially given the sheer amount of projects we have in 2020. We used to something simple and easy to follow on Marvel. We know who to root for, and we had likable heroes to follow for 4 movies before we had the Avengers. Now, our team of Avengers is practically non-existent, and we have no idea who the leader is. It's a problem since the roadmap in the first 3 phases were clear and precise. Here, the roadmap is all over the place, and it feels like Kevin Feige is spread sort of thin, stretched, like butter scraped over too much bread. Points to you for understanding that reference.
I feel thin, sort of stretched.
Number 8. Lackluster CGI. There's no getting around it. Sometimes the MCU has terrible CGI. They overwork their CGI artists, and sometimes studios don't care about special effects. But there are things like She-Hulk, who looks just awful, some scenes in Wakanda Forever, and even Eternals that are just rather poor. The special effects standard should always be Avatar, which might just be the best special effects I've ever seen. They're beautifully done and perfect. And while I'm not the biggest fan of The Way of Water, that movie looks incredible. James Cameron puts a lot of work in the CGI and special effects, and I expect no less from Marvel movies. But when the CGI looks like She-Hulk, which looks worse than Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean 2, which came out in 2006, we have a problem. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Number 7. Too much misplaced humor. The MCU is sometimes a comedy show, and sometimes the humor works, but in my opinion, that's few and far between. I think that the MCU works better when things are serious and there isn't a joke every 5 minutes, also known as Thor: Love and Thunder, where we get screaming goats, which, oh my god, it's so not funny. Thor: Love and Thunder is a prime example of what was once a great franchise that has now lost its way. It's a movie that is designed to be a comedy but isn't funny, and it's a complete waste of Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher. There's also things like She-Hulk that tries to be funny, but it's just also a waste of time. The prime example of this is in Endgame. The team just finds out that Black Widow has died in this deep emotional scene, but literally just minutes after Rockets make the joke when they pull put all the stones on Tony Stark's metal gauntlet. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but it sucks me right out of the moment every time, and I feel like Marvel does this way too often. It just takes away from the seriousness of the situation where you add in a joke and it feels cheap. It doesn't feel earned at all. Number 6. A lack of Iron Man and Captain America. A very important part here of why things are not going all super well since Endgame is a lack of Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. Robert Downey Jr. started the MCU and it could have been done if it wasn't for him. He's such a great actor that brings gravitas to role and made Tony Stark his own. He was the most paid actor out of all the Marvel actors and with good reason. Chris Evans was the leader of the Avengers team and in my opinion the best Avenger. He can lift Thor's hammer for goodness sake. These two players were integral to the heartbeat of the franchise, and since Iron Man snapped his fingers in Endgame, it feels like that heartbeat is gone. Maybe it's something that Kevin Feige didn't quite calculate right, but the MCU needs Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. Captain America is still alive, so it's easy to bring him back, but Iron Man is dead, so I guess he'll remain dead, right? In a franchise where the stakes are in very high since Endgame, Gamora, Nick Fury, Loki, Groot, Drax, Star-Lord, Coulson, Spider-Man, Black Panther all came back. It's safe to say that in Marvel, no one stays really dead. Number 5. Less TV shows. The abundance of TV shows have really hurt the quality of the overall brand since its inception. There are just so many stories you can tell and keep things fresh and exciting, while keeping things fresh and exciting. I think that the best Marvel TV shows are WandaVision, Loki, and Moon Knight. These were interesting stories that went a bit in the silly aspects of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they also were grounded and provided interesting character studies. But shows like She-Hulk, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, and the really awful Secret Invasion have really nothing to offer to the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe. They are extremely boring shows with no creativity or thought put in, and they have hurt the Marvel brand more than the creators would like to admit. She-Hulk is a comedy that isn't funny, Miss Marvel is a pointless character that is uninteresting, and Hawkeye is overshadowed in his own series by a knockoff character still played wonderfully by Haley Steinfeld. But overall, this series Hawkeye just didn't work. It feels like the TV shows don't really matter to the overall big event movies, and they diminish these as well since we are getting too much MCU content. With the universe that is already overcrowded as it is, the less projects we get and the more quality things are, the better. Number 4. Too many new characters. There's no getting around to it. There are getting way too many new characters. There's not just new characters. They're derivative characters. There's a new version of almost every one of the original Avengers, and they are far less interesting than the original 6. And that's a problem. We also got the Eternals, and they got very mixed reviews with the audience and the critics, a movie I personally did not like. There is still some hope, perhaps if they flesh out these characters more and put them in the Avengers, but they are right now not a hit with the audiences. Shang-Chi was well liked when he first came out, but where is he? It's been quite a while since this movie has been released, and he's nowhere to be found in the Phase 4 or Phase 5 yet. Who knows what they're going to do with Moon Knight or She-Hulk and even Daredevil. We have had so many new projects with so many characters, it feels like the studio thinks that the audience will latch on to anyone just because it has a logo Marvel on it, but that's not the case. Robert Downey Jr. made the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was the reason we decided to watch other movies that followed because the first Iron Man film was beloved by a lot of people, then followed Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and the crossover event Avengers movie in 2012. We fell in love with these characters and we wanted to see them together in one giant movie. Now, it only has been done well once, but it's been done well 4 times. These upcoming Avengers films need to be something special in order to justify their existence. We also need more compelling characters to root for and not just copycats. Number 3. End the multiverse storyline. I think a lot of people feel this way. Just surfing through social media and seeing the reaction to the new movies, the multiverse storyline is not working. It could have been cool if executed properly and executed only sparingly, like in No Way Home, but I think audiences have found the multiverse to be too complex and devoid of consequences. It offers very little stakes. We now know that there is another version of this person somewhere else, played by a different actor or the same. It is confusing and downright bad storytelling. It should have been a contained story that sprawled to 2 or 3 movies maximum, rather than being about the entire 3 next phases of the MCU. The audience don't seem to relate all that much to Kang the Conqueror either. While Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is a terrific actor, hasn't really connected with audiences, and spoilers for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, he gets beaten by an ant. I mean, that's just tells you all you need to know about the villain. He's just very lackluster. It also revealed. It is also revealed in one of the post-credit scenes that there are multiple versions of Kang, and I'm not sure how Marvel will make all of them interesting or unique villain. Just be done with the multiverse and move on. Number 2. Create an R-rated universe with Deadpool, Vader, Ghost Rider, etc. I think we need a breath of fresh air from the studio, and I know this will never happen because the studio will lose too much money, and I think they aren't taking any risk right now, which is a shame. But I feel like we should get a separate universe from the one we already have. Blade is also a character that could fit well in a horror-type action film with lots of blood and gore. Ghost Rider is another one that has a dark tone. Marvel could keep things fresh by rebooting the universe and keep these characters separate from the ones we already know. We would really benefit from this new universe, and it will help the movies that are part of this long and interconnected universe not become boring. I think that sometimes risk can be good and financially rewarding if you make good products and trust the audiences to go along with the ride. Number 1. Focus on making quality movies over quantity. The main point is this. Marvel needs to make quality movies over quantity. They need bangers like they had in the first 3 Marvel phases. While not all the movies are perfect, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, Captain Marvel, most were well-made comic book movies that pleased audiences, critics, and were box office hits. They were crowd pleasers, and in 2019, Marvel hit its stride with Infinity War and Endgame, which was the ultimate pinnacle of the MCU. The downside to that is that it's hard to top these past 2 movies, and a lot of people are wondering, was it worth it to continue this universe after such a satisfying 2-part ending? I think that there are still ways that Marvel can remain creative, but they need to keep surprising the audiences and stop doing their same old tropes. People are getting tired of the repetitive story beats. How many times are we really going to get a silly joke inserted at the right time, or a big CGI fight at the end? Or how many times are our heroes going to have to save not only the world but the universe? As years go by, we evolve as moviegoers, and the stories must evolve with us, or they will ultimately be left behind and they will be forgotten, and there will be nothing left but nostalgia. We need more movies like Guardians 3, Black Panther 2, and No Way Home. I think Marvel still has life in it with X-Men and Fantastic Four, and they have potential to continue the franchise for a long time to come, and they just need to get back to the roots and create compelling stories and great characters. Please subscribe if you like this video. Let me know what you think about the current situation with Marvel down below in the comments. See you later.